Caitlin Clark, though she's not playing in Chicago, she still takes over Chicago.
Caitlin Clark went to Chicago and took the city over. It looked like she took the city over.
Remember that awkward Reebok promo where Angel Reese tried to make a bold statement with her "pull up to your trap and run it" catchphrase during All-Star weekend in Indianapolis?
Over. It looked like she took the city over.
People are showing up just to witness Caitlin Clark. It's like she's the damn Beatles.
Well, the tables have turned, because Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive on the scene. She stormed in, took control, flipped the switch, and ran the show like it was already hers. Meanwhile, Angel Reese was suspiciously missing in action, once again sidelined with a conveniently timed injury. The irony? Practically cinematic.
So here's Caitlin Clark signing autographs for 2 minutes 20 seconds. There are just a serious amount of fans. I don't even know, is that even just a towel?
Clark walked into Reese's domain and completely owned it, while the so-called hometown hero vanished when the moment mattered most. Honestly, the whole thing felt like a scripted takedown. Clark in Chicago was mobbed like a superstar pulling into town, fans swarming outside the United Center while Reese vanished into thin air. She was out with a back issue that nobody really believes. And while Clark was out there signing hundreds of autographs, grinning for pictures and turning sidewalks into a Fever fan festival, Reese was busy dropping cryptic tweets trying to spin the story while her moment crumbled. The trap that Reese once declared her turf? It got overtaken, not by brute force, but by skill, composure, and authentic star quality. If you're seeing the truth now, that clear divide between media-made buzz and undeniable greatness, go ahead and smash that like button and type "I've got the fever" in the comments. Because what came next only made that gap even more glaring. The contrast couldn't be more brutal if someone had crafted a play-by-play just to expose how irrelevant Reese has become. On one hand, you have Caitlin Clark, who, mind you, wasn't even suiting up for the game, still giving fans the full experience. On the other, you've got Angel Reese, supposedly the face of Chicago, but a complete no-show during the city's biggest weekend of the year. This is what happens when someone tries to build a brand off another's fame without doing the groundwork. Eventually, the curtain lifts and you see who's really got it, and who's just playing the role of a star. Now here's what really drives it home. Caitlin Clark didn't need to touch the ball once. She didn't even step on the court. Her influence is so massive, her mere presence flips the atmosphere. And while she cheered from the sidelines, her Fever teammates dropped the hammer.
Money Mitch put him in a ditch, and Michaela Timpson treating the Chicago Sky like a bunch of Simpsons. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Kelsey Mitchell, in particular, came in with something to prove and zero tolerance for distractions.
Might be scorching hot right now. You have been so good on the road lately. 6 straight games, 24 points a game. How are you off to another hot start in a hostile environment?
I think about just staying in rhythm. And when I stay in rhythm, about being aggressive. So as long as I'm aggressive and being myself, they make it easier for me.
From the jump, she lit it up, draining threes from every corner of Chicago and putting on a 35-point masterclass, including 7 shots from deep. This wasn't just a solid outing, it was a full-blown announcement. Mitchell turned enemy territory into her playground and reminded everyone that the Fever aren't just Clark and Cody, they're a legit threat. And what made the win even sweeter? They did it all without Caitlin running the show. That's no small thing. Indiana showed the world they're more than a one-woman army. With Clark sidelined, Mitchell took over and carried the franchise like a seasoned leader. No hesitation, no fear, just dominance. Her performance screamed, "Don't underestimate us just because Clark's not in uniform." Aaliyah Boston wasn't just present. She controlled the paint like it was her private domain. Her 14 points and 11 boards weren't flashy, but they were authoritative. She dismantled Chicago's front court with smarts, strength, and skill. Every touch she had looked like a textbook example of how to turn elite defenders into background extras. And while Boston was running things inside, Aari McDonald came off the bench and delivered another clutch effort, dropping 10 critical points and playing with a sense of destiny. Remember, McDonald wasn't even supposed to be a major piece of this year's plan, but now? She's part of the engine driving Indiana's rise. But beyond individual performances, what truly stood out was how Indiana controlled the entire rhythm of the game. This wasn't luck, it was total domination. Every time the Sky tried to rally, Indiana shut it down cold. The Fever didn't just outplay them, they outthought, outpaced, and outwilled them. The final score, 93-78, actually flatters Chicago.
Kelsey Mitchell, 7 for 10 from the three-point line off the start, 8 points quick. You knew, oh, Kelsey Mitchell's hot today. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell's hot today. This might be her game. Let's keep the hot hand in. Let's keep the hot hand going. Let's set her some big body screens, get her open. Kelsey Mitchell, she did it all. 7 for 10 from the three-point line. She got to the rack. She got to the free throw line, carving up the defense, looking like a little snake, how she just slithers in and out of that defense. Kelsey Mitchell, salute to you.
Truthfully, it felt like a 30-point drubbing. Indiana owned every important category: shooting, rebounding, passing, defense, hustle, you name it. And the kicker? They did it without their franchise centerpiece even suiting up. That's what championship caliber teams do. No excuses, no letdowns, just ruthless execution. As for Chicago, this was supposed to be their bounce back. They were at home, their season was on life support, and they had every reason to come out swinging. Instead, they folded.
Lit them up. I mean, she was on fire. On fire. She couldn't miss. I mean, everything was in the flow of the offense. Effortless, man. We got to give love to Kelsey Mitchell. 12 of 19 from the floor, 7 of 10 from 3, 35 points. Straight stirring the pot. Stirring the pot. She was cooking their ass today. Kelsey Mitchell was on one. She was on one. She was a plus 25 for the game. The Chicago Sky are a flat out joke. This team is
Indiana's intensity overwhelmed them. While the Fever were torching nets from deep, shooting nearly 50%, the Sky were clanging bricks at a rough 31%. That disparity? That's not just a bad shooting night. That's about identity, preparation, and culture. Let's not ignore the Fever's bench. Michaela Timpson and Lexi Hull stepped up with vital minutes that kept the team humming. These aren't just depth players, they're tone setters. They maintained the tempo, gave the starters breathing room, and ensured the pressure never dipped. That's the secret to playoff success. You can't burn out your stars. And Indiana gets that. Their 17 forced turnovers were a lesson in defensive chaos. Chicago never looked comfortable, always reacting, always a step behind. This wasn't just an off night for Chicago, this was their 5th loss in a row. Injuries, chaotic rotations, coaching uncertainty, it's all falling apart. What was once seen as a playoff-level team now looks like it's struggling just to stay relevant. The energy is off, the execution's sloppy, and the coaching staff seems powerless to stop the slide. The front office has a choice: rebuild or live in denial. Because at this pace, they'll be lucky to finish ahead of teams that aren't even trying. Meanwhile, Indiana looks like they've unlocked the formula. Organization, consistency, game planning. The Fever are laying real groundwork while the Sky are just plugging leaks. This game wasn't just a win, it was a statement, a blueprint for what a high-functioning culture looks like. And for Chicago, it was a mirror reflecting every crack, flaw, and excuse. They didn't just lose, they got exposed. Now, if you want to dive into the stats, it only gets worse. The Sky were out-rebounded 42-35. That's not about height, it's about heart. Indiana wanted it more. They boxed out, crashed the glass, and beat Chicago to every 50-50 ball. The Fever also dropped 24 assists on 34 made buckets. Clean, smart ball movement. Chicago, just 16 assists. Translation: a stuck offense forced into bad decisions. Turnovers, same story. Indiana was crisp. Chicago was chaotic. The numbers tell a tale of two teams. One locked in, the other flailing. Defensively, Indiana was a masterclass in communication. Their rotations were sharp. Help defense was on point. Chicago, by contrast, looked like they were guessing half the time. And what made it even more impressive? Indiana ran smaller lineups for long stretches. This wasn't about overpowering the Sky, it was about outworking them. And let's be clear, Chicago's issues aren't just surface level. Their problems are structural. From leadership to identity, they're playing reactive, messy basketball. Indiana, they're locked in on a mission. They walked into a tough environment without their leader and dismantled a division rival. That's not luck, that's playoff DNA. And when Clark returns, It's game over. You won't just have to worry about her. You'll have to deal with a tested, confident group that already knows how to win without her. That makes Indiana a matchup nightmare. Their system works, their players believe, and their front office has built something sustainable. Also, don't underestimate how important this game was for Indiana's younger players. They've now had time to grow in real pressure situations without relying on their superstar. That builds long-term success. Kelsey Mitchell is no longer just a sidekick. She's a legit second option with scoring versatility and nerves of steel. And Aaliyah Boston is evolving into a dominant two-way force who controls games inside. Indiana's bench, not just holding the line, they're lifting the team. That kind of depth? That's how you survive playoff battles. Because it's never just about your top player. It's about the full system, the ability to pivot, the belief in each other. And here's the final truth bomb. The so-called rivalry? It's dead. Wasn't even real to begin with. Caitlin Clark is her own brand, her own movement. She didn't play a single second, and still hijacked an entire city's energy. Fans showed up just to catch her vibe. Angel Reese? Another conveniently timed injury. Another big moment missed. Clark doesn't just walk into a city, she shifts the entire vibe. That's star power. That's reach. Meanwhile, Reese is still chasing headlines, still hoping to ride someone else's wave. But the gap? It's widening. The spotlight, the money, the attention, it's all orbiting Clark. You can't fake legacy. You can't brand your way into greatness. You earn it. And Clark? She earns it, on and off the court. Reese is still banking on controversy and vague social posts to stay relevant. But this game was the period at the end of the sentence. The trap? Taken. The city? Belongs to Clark. That torch? Never really yours. Caitlin Clark didn't just upstage Chicago, she ended the conversation. And the Fever, even without her, made one thing loud and clear. They're not just here to play, they're here to dominate. If you've been watching all this and finally see the difference between real greatness and marketing smoke, comment below. I've got the Fever. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment.